What is dangerous to forget? Whether or not you took your meds for the day. I can never remember if I did so to keep from taking them twice. I got one of those containers with a box for each day. Doesn't help me remember to take them though. Use an app. I use My Therapy and it really helps. It alerts you when it's time and keeps track of when you've taken it. The master password to your digital vault. People have lost from forgotten passwords. Edit typo. I feel like I have internalized my master password in the same way that I have internalized the alphabet or simple math. I think I could get amnesia and it will be one of the things that I'll still remember. What you are allergic to. There was a guy on Reddit that said though he was allergic to shellfish, he loved it. Said he used to take Benadryl before he'd have any. That stopped helping after a while, so he'd just bring his EpiPen when he went out for crab. Haven't heard any more from him in quite a while. My brothers and I are allergic to shellfish, but one of my brothers couldn't let it go because he loved shrimp, so he kept eating it every few years to see if he was still allergic. His lips would balloon up like Jinx and we would tell him what an idiot he was, but about 2 years ago, he stopped being allergic. The rest of us are still allergic. He is younger than me, but I now get anaphylaxis from being around someone cooking shellfish these days, which is apparently pretty rare, so his is gone and mine is a lot worse at it. To clarify, we all developed the allergy when we were around 13 or so. We all had shrimp and such when young. We were especially fond of popcorn shrimp. But we each had an experience where we suddenly had vomiting and diarrhea when we ate shellfish, around age 13 or so also. He did not methodically microdose until he wasn't allergic, he just ate a couple shrimp once in a while. Think of that scene in Broad City where Alana eats the lobster dinner because she knows for tolerance. He also didn't even have an EpiPen. So he's still an idiot. He just got lucky. For a while I would eat at sushi, Chinese restaurants without specifying my allergy and not pay attention to may contain shellfish on packaging. Sometimes my lips would get itchy and swell a bit. Sometimes I would get diarrhea. Nothing too bad. This was also pretty stupid, but out of all of us, what I was doing was closest to microdosing, and it did not work out for me, as now I get anaphylaxis if shrimp sushi accidentally touches my salmon sushi. I almost died because I was not expecting anaphylaxis the first time I had it. Don't beep around with food allergies. Cleaning out your dryer vents regularly. If they become completely blocked, it can lead to a house fire. I saw this happen once. I came downstairs to the smell of smoke, and my buddy was furiously trying to put out the fire. Luckily, it wasn't that big. A fire extinguisher is something you never want to have to look for. They're expensive, but it's worth having a few in very noticeable spots in the house. That the beautiful wild animal is still a wild animal, but cheetah look like big kitty, and bears look like fluffy dogs. Mute and turn off the camera when you are done interviewing. Tell that to Robert Durst. Context: that the handle of the frying pan you stuck in the oven will be violently hot if you don't use an oven mitt to pull it out. Or if you forget the handle is still hot after pulling the pan out and walking away for 10 minutes. Always leave a mitt towel on top of the handle after taking it out. I learned to do this after burning my hand, and then having a family member touch it and burn themselves too. To turn off gas stove. There's a Simon and Garfunkel song about an old man that lives by himself and is very antisocial. One night he leaves the gas on, leaves the windows closed, and dies in his sleep. Edit: it's a most peculiar man. A most peculiar man. Low-head dams. They are basically drowning machines. They look like an insignificant drop of just a few feet, but the recirculation they form is so powerful that they cannot be escaped. Here's a picture of one. http://cdc. Gov. NIOSH fire. Images 2007 JPG. It is possible to escape, but it takes a lot of luck. Curl up in a ball, as tight as possible, and eventually, if you're lucky, you'll get spat out far enough away that you can swim away. Fighting it though, and trying to swim out, yeah, that's a death sentence. That you had something in the oven. Or the toaster. My sister once said to me, "Can you check the bread I put in the toaster?" When I opened the kitchen door, the smoke was so intense I couldn't see more a couple of feet. Turns out, she put bread in the defective toaster some 20 minutes before asking me. It only took 2 hours to get rid of the smoke and a mere 2 weeks to get rid of the smell. Yeah, but how was the bread? That you're driving. Oh, asterisk. I had a coworker that used to joke that he would never text and drive, only send work emails. Really funny guy. Great turnout at his memorial. Installing a carbon monoxide detector. Oh beep, I need one of those. Plot twist, you already bought one but forgot because of amnesia from _CO2 do not put water on a grease fire. Asterisk, do not put water on a grease fire. Asterisk, it will make the fire grow. If you have a grease fire, place a metal lid or flat pan over the source of the fire to deprive it of oxygen. Turn off the heat source. If you can't do a lid, pour baking soda on. Edit. Also salt and damp dish towels. Salt works really well too. You know that salt sprinkling meme guy? I'm just imagining me doing that, but over a big beep fire. Thanks for the tip and the mental image. Under the right circumstances, electricity can kill you instantly, and unless you're an electrician, you probably don't know what the right circumstances are, that you shouldn't just mix whatever cleaning supplies you have available and form a deadly gas and kill you ASAP. Ammonia and chlorine, bleach specifically, a very real danger. Also, don't put bleach cleaner in your toilet bowl without flushing. There's some ammonia in your waste, and even though it probably won't kill you, it probably won't feel good. Edit. I should clarify that you aren't going to create a chemical weapon with a teeny amount of ammonia in your pee. If you're passing out, it's probably more from the bleach fumes. Any possible gas created will be more of an irritant than deadly. Also learned, don't mix bleach and cat asterisk. Thank you all for telling me a lot of stories about accidentally peeing into bleach-filled bowls, bleaching your litter box, otherwise harming yourself with cleaning chemical. Keeping good dental hygiene really bites you later on if you're not careful. I grew up in a household that didn't teach dental hygiene. 32, and on Wednesday I start my first of 6 procedures to get my mouth fixed. $6K worth of work. So nervous but so excited for the future. Edit. You all are amazing. Thank you for your kind words. Dental hygiene is so important. If you're nervous with expenses, believe me, of all people, this whole ordeal has stressed me out the last 10 years. Never having dental insurance, always working in the restaurant industry. I told my new dentist this 2 weeks ago. He said, "You would be really surprised. There might be a dentist out there that has a legitimate plan for those that can't afford." When the warning label on something reads asterisk inflammable asterisk, it means that it's highly flammable, not flammable, and inflammable are synonyms. This is a primary example of the stupidity of the English language. Ever heard about the German word umfahren? It can be used to say driving around something and running something over. It is its own opposite. The face of your father. That never ends well. Stares and gunslinger cries in terrible movie adaptation. Your parachute. You don't need a parachute to skydive, you just need a parachute to skydive twice. It's hard to argue with that assessment. That you're not wearing the pants with the keys but went to the store in your joggers for like once in your life, because then when you get back and stand outside your door like a proper fool you realize that your phone is still in your apartment as well. Not that it would matter too much since your flatmate would sleep through a civil war and probably won't wake up. Did you end up getting in the house or did you have to start your life over with nothing but the joggers? I repurposed the joggers into a tent and have set up a small shop outside the building that was formerly my residence. I make a living out of selling leeks that I have grown out of the groceries I went out to get that fateful day. It's been 5 years. My flatmate has not woken up yet. That you're not immune to propaganda. The amount of people who think they're too smart to fall for propaganda is scary AF. Those are exactly the type of people who are good propaganda targets. Sure, you might see the simple stuff, but anything worth it. Unsubscribe before free trial ends. Which pedal is the go pedal and which is the stop? I did this and ruined my parents' car and garage. Just remember, if you can't remember which is which, you have a higher chance of keeping your license by bribing the police. History. nuclear launch codes. In the 50s to 80s, the code was oh oh nah. It was oh 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 oh, and actually not the code one thinks about when it comes to launch. Robert McNamara demanded a code the Secretary of Defense would have, which would be required to do anything with the whole launch system, like a generic user password to use a computer. The USAF was no big fan of this, so they set that code to oh 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 oh. After that, you still would have the whole double key procedure. The actual code required to be received in 2 out of 5 launch complexes in the US. Voting for a launch that putting a croissant in the microwave for 20 minutes has a different effect than it being in an oven for 20 minutes. Edit. Thanks stranger for this toasty at home.